Okay, would you state your name for the record?
Wallace Richard Carley.
And your address?
11325 Vesper Circle in St. George, Kansas.
And branch of service during the war?
U.S. Navy.
And which ship did you serve on?
Served on the USS Sierra for most of the time. I was on one before that, but not very long.
And what was the highest rank you had?
Electrician made third class. Just made second class, but they didn't give it to me because the war got over and they didn't want to.
Didn't want to stay in?
They didn't want to spend any more effort making out the papers, I guess. I don't know. I'd already passed the test, but they didn't give it to me.
What years were you in the Navy?
Well, from 43 to 46.
And where did you serve?
Well, I went through boot camp in Farragut, Idaho during the winter time. Then they sent me to electrical engineering school at University of Minnesota over in Minneapolis. We did put about, well, I think it's a 4-year course, and they gave it to us in about 4 months. And first 2 over on what they call the farm campus, and then the next 2 back on the main campus, but it was all there in Minneapolis. And then went from there, went out to Shoemaker, California, kind of a jumping off place, you know, and got all set. And then I remember we used to get Liberty there, go over to San Francisco or over to Oakland. And I was young that then, you know, you'd go down there and they wouldn't let you have a drink of anything, you know, because you wasn't old enough. I said, man, I'm getting old enough. On my 21st birthday, I was sailing out under the Golden Gate. I was already
Too late to get a drink.
Yeah, too late.
How about medals or special service awards that you can remember?
Well, I got a presidential citation for. See, this ship I was on was at one time considered Admiral Halsey's secret weapon because it was a repair ship we had, and we had a floating dry dock out there with us in the Admiralty Islands at that time, at first, and we had everything on that ship. In fact, there was a crew of over 3,000 men. We had everything there from foundries to optical shops on there. You know, everything you'd find in a city. Well, you wouldn't find all that stuff in a town like Wamega or small towns around here, but they had all that stuff aboard. We had the destroyers would come and tie right alongside us. We could put as much as maybe 10 destroyers out on the side. And at that time, we were operating with the 5th Fleet and the 7th Fleet, but the Japs thought all the time that we had 2 fleets out there when we only had 1. We'd bring them in there and give them ammunition from torpedoes and even water and everything that they needed on board each one of them ships, and send them out one direction one day, and next they'd come back and we'd fill them up again, and they'd head off some other direction under the different officer, called them under the 5th Fleet. They was all the same ships anyway, and the Japs thought they were 2 different fleets. And of course that made it kind of rough on us too, have to repair them ships, because originally if I took on a suicide plane, they'd come back to the United States, you know, and get repaired. So when they'd get those guys wanting to come back to the States, we just don't blame them. But instead of that, we just pulled them off in there in a dry dock right there and put them back in action. And they didn't like that. Sometimes they'd even be throwing tools over the side. Anyway, that's kind of the way it was. But so we we repaired. At one time, we was in Guadalcanal. We did a bunch of landing ships and everything ready to go to land on Okinawa. And I can't remember the figures now. I got it clipping somewhere where we got the presidential citation for the amount of man hours we put in on those ships in such a short time, man, you couldn't hardly believe how many hours. You know, we worked 24 hours a day, but they divided the ship up in sections, and one section would have a day off and go over on the beach. They'd send us over there and give us a few cans of beer and put us over there in the rain, and mostly raining the whole time. But anyway, that's a liberty we had, and get a little rest from it. But everybody kept working on them ships all the time, 24 hours a day. I don't know. Then we went. Can't remember what harbor, but there was an ammunition ship, the Mount Hood. I don't know. You ever heard of it? When it blew up, we was in that harbor with them, and of course, when that big explosion, why, everybody thought that we was getting bombed and sound the general quarters. And remember, I started through the hatch. I had to go from the electric shop into the machine shop to get to my general quarters station. And just as I started through that hatch, there was another explosion that blowed me right back into the concussion. Just took me right back into the electric shop. And those planes on the island took off, of course. You know, they thought we'd being bombed too, and they come flying in over there. And our guys cut loose with 3-inch guns at them, and man, they didn't take them long to show turn their belly up where you could see they was our planes. But it was pretty. And the only people we lost though was our movie. Of course, I was a movie operator, and we had 2 of them. And it was my day. I was aboard, and this other guy went to get the movies, and he never did come back. So apparently, he was close enough to, you know, that
the ship when it blew up.
Yeah, I don't know if they ever found out the reason. I think it was an ammunition ship, you know, full of somebody was smoking when they shouldn't have been or something. I imagine, but nobody probably ever found out for sure. I never did anyway.
But the whole ship blew up. Probably whoever was smoking or something
the
went up with
it blew up and just threw people and bodies everywhere. We used to go over on the islands, you know, taking a Liberty or whatever, and you'd see bodies, pieces of them floating along the shore and everything all around there. And then we, I don't know, then we went to the Philippines for a while. We was over in Shanghai, China, and we went over there, went up in that Huangpu River, anchored in there. We was what they called it we was a lead ship there anyway, you know, had the main officer for that group there. And we were in there for, I don't know, about 4 months. We was there at Christmas time, and one thing another in Shanghai. That was a kind of an experience that we, you could see bodies floating around there all the time. That Huangpu, I don't know how they do it now, but in that time, anybody died, they just took them down, threw them in the river, threw them in the Huangpu River, and the harbor patrol would come and find the bodies. They'd take them over on the island and burn them. That's the way they did. All the people did there. You know, we first got there and go into town, city there on the Liberty, and see them bodies floating around. You wonder what's going on. You know, but you just got used to it.
That's just the way the locals did it.
That's just the way they did it then. That was. At that time, I think it was the 7th largest city in the world, population-wise. And so, but then people walked around there just, well, I used to compare it to the 4th of July celebration down at Wamega when everybody's walking around in the streets, you know. Just like they'd never seen the place before, you know, they'd walk around with their arms crossed just all over the town. But they did have one thing that different from here. They never had any locks on things like, you know, we had to lock stores up and everything. But it was a death to steal anything over there. They had one of them. They had an Indian people with from India, you know, with the black turbans and .45 pistol on their hip. on each corner of the street. That was the law, and you didn't have a bunch of lawyers deciding whether he was guilty or not. If somebody stole something, they just took you down there, and there's a fairgrounds there. They just took them over there and lined them up against the wall and shot them. That's all there was to it. So consequently, they didn't have any trouble with anybody stealing anything. He didn't lock the stores or anything. He just opened.
Yeah, I bet that's true.
Yeah. Then we was back in the Philippines, and when the war was actually over, the day it was over. In fact, I think it was my birthday, the day that the war ended. That's not the official. It's the 12th of August, but I think they got it listed on the 15th or something. They actually signed the papers on board the Missouri. But that night, man, we had all kind of extra shooting fireworks and tugboats running around squirting water in the air and lights of shites, and it was quite an exciting thing.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Then we came back to the state. See, I didn't get to come back when I should have been. We had points, you know. I had enough points to get out, but they claimed electricians was a shortage of them, I guess, and they said it was essential, and they didn't let me come back right away. Then we came back to dry dock and out in California there, and we had to stay there till we got the ship. It was already, we had it all out of dry dock and ready to go back. It's going back to Shanghai, and I thought I was going to have to go out back there and then get discharged and come all the way back again. But just the night before they left, they called my name out. Then I rolled that gear up and got it on out of there.
Did you get on a train to come back home, man? Or
Did what?
you get on a train there and come back home, or?
Yeah, well, I got I got on a train and came down to. Well, actually, I was almost home. Just had to go back got discharged in Norman, Oklahoma. And we were riding the train, come through Wichita, and I thought, what in the world? I'm almost home, and then I had to go
south.
Go south down it. I don't know. That's the way they do things, you know. You have to say there's a right way and a wrong way and a Navy way. I guess that's, you know, well, we had some pretty, when we was in the Philippines, a lot in there during the Lady Gulf time. I got a ribbon for that Lady Gulf deal, and I don't know what other ones, I can't remember, but anyway, it was a exciting thing. So I guess that's a.
Well, what did you do after the war then? After you got home?
Oh, after I got, well, the first thing I did was help Blacktop Highway 99 going up. You know, they just doing that then, and my brother was working on that, so I went over there. Well, that was kind of a strange situation. I went over at Louisville, and they had a little beer joint there then, you know, and I was in there. It was getting along about 4 o'clock or something in the afternoon, and they had this windrower. They hooked on behind a blade, you know, and they'd windrow the sand all along the road. Then they'd come along with that barber green and mix it with the blacktop, you know, and then spread it back down. And they didn't have anybody to run that windrower. And this boss, he was up there on that machine. He's out in front of this beer joint. Had it hooked on there, and he was trying to get it. He was turning the wheels all over. And I stood there and laughed at him, and we was all out there looking at him and everything. I said, "God, you're turning it the wrong way. You're putting it up instead of down and all that, you know." And he said, "If you think you can do better, get up here." And I just got up on there, and the old guy took off, and we went down the highway, you know, windrowing that stuff. And when he got down to the end of the road, we quit. The guy said, the guy driving the machine said, "Well, you'll be out here tomorrow." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, he hired you." I said, "What do you mean he hired me?" I said, "You just be out here. When the time people comes by, put down your time." I bet I sat out there for 2 days and never run that wind rower again. And they took my time down. I thought, man, I never had a job like this before. And then those trucks of hauling oil, you know, they were kind of tall, top heavy. And you had to be careful turning them around. There was one guy he upset the truck there when they come down to turn around, rolled it over. And so that old boss told him, he said, now the next time, next one of them you roll over, you just get out and keep on walking. So sure enough, one night just come along here, he turned one another over, and he just got up and started on walking to Louisville. and the guy said, well, now what are you going to do? What are you going to do for a truck driver? And he turned around, and I was sitting up there doing nothing, like waiting on him. He said, there he is, right down there. So from then on, I drove the truck. You know, I never. But we got that all finished, and then I went down to Goodyear.
Oh, you worked at Goodyear?
Yeah, then I went down and got a job at Goodyear and stayed there 40 years. Before that, when I first got in it, I was, you know, kind of, when I went in the Navy, my uncle told me, he said, well, the war will be over a few days, because he said, you never had a job very long in your life. It'll be over. Then I went down to Goodyear and stayed there almost 40 years.
So now you're retired?
Yeah, I've been retired since '85.
Do you have any kids?
Well, I got a son, works down Goodyear, lives in Omega. Errol, I don't know if you know him or not. I think he's on the city councilor board or something down there. I don't know. He was a mayor a while back, but yeah, he's the only son I got.
Well, do you have a picture or something here you want to show us?
Oh, I got this is a poor picture, but it's my boot camp picture. That's what I looked like back in '43, what, 60 years ago or something like that. Yeah, that would be 60 years ago, wouldn't it?
Not much different than you look now.
Oh, yeah. No.
Okay.
Got it?
Got it.
Okay.
Anything else you want to tell us about?
Well, I don't know. I should have thought about this a while before I came
Well,
up
you
here.
did good.
Because I don't know. There's a lot of things, you know, when I was in the Navy and up to Minneapolis, Minnesota, you know, he's up there. That was a really fun time in your life, you know, in the Navy, anyway. And there's a lot of experiences when he was overseas. I remember we used to go up on the boat deck after noon hour after eating, you know, go up there and lay out on the sun and get a suntan and everything. And one day we were asking them, talking about it, and I remember a buddy of mine said, what are we going to tell people when we get back, you know, after all this going on? And we talked about it a while, and finally said, there ain't no use in telling them anything. They ain't going to believe it anyway. And so, about the way it turned out, I never talk about it much. I just kind of let it, forget it or something, you know. But there's a lot of things, a lot of fun things. I remember, well, like I said, we used to go there when we was in Guadalcanal. We had divided the ship up in, I think it was about half, or maybe 4 sections. Anyway, and we'd go over there for a day, and depending on how many guys wanted to go, they'd give them so many cans of beer and send them over there, and it's old red dirt, you know, and we'd sit over there. There wasn't nothing to do on the island, really. We'd just sit there and shoot the breeze and drink beer. And golly, and I remember they'd come over there to get us at night, and some of them guys, you know, like everywhere you go, there's always somebody has to drink too much. And golly, I've seen it starting back towards the ship, you know, and in that little whale boat, some of them characters fall overboard, and somebody had to holler, man overboard, they have to turn around and go get him, pull him back in, and oh, it was something. Some of them, in that, it rained every day, it rained over there, and hot, you know, and steamy, and that old red dirt over on them islands, you just look like it's red, you know, if some of them guys fall down in it and get all muddy, and They need to be thrown overboard. Get them cleaned off and get back to board the ship.
Well, I appreciate you coming in. Thanks.
Yeah, well.
If there's anything else you want to say, we can turn
I
it
don't-